Hello everybody, welcome back to the Splatoon 2 commentary. In this part, I forget which stage we go into because I have a terrible time in this game remembering which stages are in which world. It's more like, oh, I'm in this stage now. Okay, that's it.
I love how they introduced the special weapons overhaul into the
Into,
Sunken Scrolls because everyone hated them.
yeah, it's just like, okay, yeah, the powers that be determined that all special weapon, like that I actually don't mind. But the one right before that, which we were talking about something else during the point, it was just like, come look at the shoal, which is where you do your local multiplayer stuff. And I'm like, cool. I didn't really need to know that. That's not super interesting. You're not revealing anything cool about it.
Yeah, it's just go here to do this. I could tell based on the map.
Yeah, so... Yeah, and like I mean, I don't mind like for example,
Marina really doesn't, and Marina doesn't even get a Sunken Scroll devoted to her.
Oh no, she does.
Just kind of she appears in one of them, but she doesn't get anything really done about it.
She appears in the one for the second stage where they talk about the final boss for the first Splatoon, and it's implied that she was watching that final boss fight, and that inspired her to become a pop star. Which is
yeah, but she doesn't really appear in it, and it's not really about her in that sense.
I feel like I mean Pearl and Marina are the two new like hosts, so they're pretty major characters. I feel like they could have each had another at least one more Sunken Scroll. It's kind of weird too, is that I think that they might have at some point intended the Salmonid enemies to be in the single player mode, because a lot of the Sunken Scrolls from I believe in World by the end of World 3 or maybe the beginning of World 4, again, I can't really remember which ones are tied to which stages all the time, but there's a lot of Sunken Scrolls about the Salmonids. Like one where it's like a Bible verse about them being like the coming of the end times or something like that, and it's like, okay, I mean, it is the most major new mode in the game, but I was wondering, like, are they planning to have like them be were they planning on them being an enemy type at some point, and then they decided, no, this would work better as a different mode? Like, those are the kind of things that I wonder about game development. Is
I also wish they would answer in one of the scrolls. Why is everyone okay with Marina existing in Inkopolis if she's not?
Whoa, what, Ryan? Are you saying that octopuses can't exist? What, are you, racist?
No, I'm asking why the Inklings are apparently racist towards Marina and Marina only if they hate the Octolings so much.
Well, I don't think that the Octolings in general hate I'm sorry, I don't think that the Inklings really give a shit about the Octarians, because in the first game it's established that there was like this great turf war 100 years ago, and like the only one who's really paying attention to the Octarians anymore is Captain Cuttlefish, who is a crazy old fart. So like
most likely racist.
Yeah, most likely probably racist. You know, he voted for Squid Trump. So I don't think that people really care. I think that, like, the Octarian, I think that it's really just one crazy Octarian, which is DJ Octavio, and his, like, little group of people, and, like, one crazy Inkling just having this weird battle royale feud thing, and then, like, the squid...
It was still something I wish they had brought up.
Yes.
Marina.
I do think in one of the, I forget which stage it is, but at one point, Pearl makes an octopus joke at Marina, and then Marina gets very upset. So Pearl is also racist as well. I think it's one of those things where if they ever do playable Octolings in this game, they might expand upon. I don't really want paid DLC for Splatoon multiplayer. No, my power eggs! But, okay, let me... I don't...
Onion ring.
Yeah, I don't really think that paid DLC for Splatoon 2's multiplayer, I think, is a good idea, like, at all. But
no, it's not.
I do think that, like, a $10 expansion pack to the single player would be cool. Like, here, $10, you get, like, 2 new worlds of levels. And I think that would be cool, especially if it was, like, an Octoling pack, where, like, you play as an Octoling and Callie is, like, your mission control instead of Marie or something, and it's, like, an alternate storyline or something. Like, that I think would actually be a cool little thing to do if they wanted to do DLC.
And if they, yeah, and you can add the new weapons to it if they make any new weapons.
Yeah, like they do have the squeezer weapon, which is in the game's code.
Well, yeah. So if they do get around to new weapons, do the single player expansion pack and you introduce those as single player modes.
Yeah, and if they really wanted to be mean, maybe that you could have, like, if you get that mode, then you could be an Octarian in multiplayer. I don't think that they should do that personally, but I mean, it certainly would be an incentive to get people to buy it for sure if they did do that. So yeah,
I would think even more so if it's free.
Squidstagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think that
Squid
they should give out new single player levels for free, because that is something that I feel like I would be justified in playing for. But I do feel like if you could play as an Octoling, then that should definitely be free. I don't think that hiding that behind a paywall, or like even worse, if it were like an amiibo bonus, then I think people would get
I think
very
that
upset.
depends on how cosmetic it is, because they could just make change the pattern on their hairstyles to make them have suction cups on it, so it's an Octoling now or something.
They do have models for the hair. I think even as early as Splatoon 1, you could very easily just hack the Octoling hair onto the Splatoon, on the Inkling body, and it would work. But if it were something like, oh, you have to get the Octoling amiibo to play as an Octoling online, I think people would freak out, because that seems to be what happened with Fusion mode in Metroid, where you have to get that Metroid amiibo.
And hard mode, and yeah, everyone's rightfully calling them out on that.
Wait, is hard mode amiibo exclusive? I thought that hard mode was just you had to beat the game.
No, fusion mode.
Yeah, fusion mode is supposed to also be super hard mode, though, from what I've looked up.
If I remember correctly, yeah, I'm drawing a blank at the moment.
Yeah, but that's still really fucking stupid.
It's just so unlike them. I don't understand.
Well, it's the kind of the catch-22 with Amiibo is that you want Amiibo to do something, but if you want the Amiibo to do something, then you're hiding it behind that content. You're hiding that content behind the toy.
Yeah, then it's no different than a paywall.
Especially with Nintendo's horrid supply issues for basically everything.
Yeah, like you can. I thought for Splatoon 2 when the game came out, I only got the Squid Girl amiibo because the Splatoon 1 amiibo are actually fairly common. You can get those with no problem. And I was thinking, okay, like I'll just wait on those to save a little bit of money. It's been like 2-3 months since the game came out, and I have not seen a single other Splatoon 2 amiibo in stores since, and they have not gone back up for sale online. So, and this is a game that's new and people are still playing. So, like, once that, I pretty much guarantee you that once that Samus Returns Metroid amiibo sells out of the 2-packs, you're not getting.
They're not going to make any more.
No, they're not. So.
Well, I mean, it's gotten as bad as their own games, because I was actually at a GameStop the other day, the only one I go to because I know people who work there. And they're like, yeah, good thing you're putting your money down on all your Metroid stuff now, because I was going to pay it off just so I could go in the store and pick it up. Because, we haven't gotten, like, a refresh on any games in, like, 2 months.
Yeah.
For the Switch.
And it's been like this for years. I remember Pikmin 3, when Pikmin 3 came out, I think they had one copy that wasn't pre-ordered, and I got it. I got the only non-pre-ordered copy for the game. And
yeah, but I was talking about like full Switch games as well. It's like they haven't gotten a refresh on any of the games, including Mario Kart and Splatoon, in like months.
Yeah, so actually, now I'm thinking about it, I should probably pre-order Mario Odyssey if I want to have the cart for that now.
Yeah.
So
but better get on that.
Yeah.
Mind you, that's probably like the one game they will have an absurd amount of copies for, but.
Yeah, but.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, Splatoon 2, it's pretty major. Especially now.
It's the most, honestly, in my opinion, it's the most major game to be released on the system, like, in general, like, up to that point.
Other than Breath of the Wild.
Well, I think arguably even more so than Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild is also on Wii U. Like, I mean, nobody's playing it on Wii U, granted, but that's something that you can get.
No, but I'm talking strictly on IP.
Yeah,
like,
this is the first new Nintendo game to be released on the system. Like, not a port, not something that's also on different hardware. Like, this is the first Nintendo game to come out on the system that you can only get on this system. That is also not ARMS, because let's be honest, ARMS is not a major game. I
know people played it for like a week and then they just went to.
I dropped it really fucking quickly.
Well, it was exactly what I said. It a decent idea on paper, but it does not have the variety or strength to stand on its own for a long period of time, because that's basically what happened.
There's a very good video I watched about it where they actually compared ARMS and Splatoon 2 directly. And the difference between the two is that in Splatoon you have different weapons, there's different modes. There's different modes in ARMS too, but there's different weapons, and each different weapon.
There's only one way to really play the game in Splatoon. I mean, not in Splatoon, in ARMS.
Yeah,
you're throwing a punch at it.
Yeah, and even though the different characters one can jump more, or one has this slow time ability or something, it's still the same basic control, and gameplay is different. But when you're looking at the Splatling here, the way you control and move and shoot in this is very different than the roller, which is different than the automatic weapons, which is different than the charger. And there are some weapons which we feel could be more different, like the dualies, for example, but there's still more. You still control the game in a different way and play in a much different way when you're playing this game as opposed to ARMS. And granted, we're not saying you're a dumbass if you like ARMS, or at least I'm not. I don't know what these guys are thinking. Ryan hates you if you play ARMS.
You're a dumbass if you play ARMS.
Okay, good. See, now you can get mad at John instead of me. I'm glad. But we're just saying...
But what that game really needed was an Anchor ARMS update.
Yeah.
Now you're a jerk and everyone loves you.
Oh, and it's okay, though. It's getting an update where you can play as a clown. Yeah.
ARMS by design is just more limited than the things you can do in Splatoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or other fighters, I guess, which is a better comparison as well, you know?
Yeah. Because, Tekken isn't all just guys who spend 90% of their moveset just punching really hard.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, because, ARMS to me is not a bad game. It's just not very interesting for me.
Yeah. Which I guess is the biggest problem with...
It also had very little staying power.
Yeah, which is a problem. It's more exasperated with a fighting game than if it were just an okay platformer. Because an okay platformer, you can play it and then be done, but a fighting game is a game that you're intended to play for, months. You're supposed to learn the systems in and out in order to get really good at it.
Or play a lot with your friends, which, if it doesn't have that staying power, you're not playing with your friends. You're going back to play Smash Brothers instead.
We're not playing ARMS. We're playing Smash Brothers or Street Fighter.
Yeah. Which is just kind of one of the things, fighters are... if your fighter isn't fantastic, people aren't going to play it, you know? There's a reason why people don't play, Castlevania Judgment at EVO anymore, you know? And it's because, even if it's not
anymore.
Ever. Because Castlevania Judgment gameplay-wise isn't terrible, it's just not great, you know?
I think a better idea for using the fighting game thing is Pokken Tournament.
Oh, yeah, Pokken Tournament.
It's a fine game, but it's too limited, and it's just not good enough to compete with everything else.
You see, the thing if we're talking about Switch games that needed that feel very similar to Wii U games, Splatoon 2 is one, but Pokken Tournament I think is the one game out of all of them.
Pokken Tournament DX has almost no reason to exist, considering everything that they're adding that's quote unquote new, aside from Decidueye, was in Japan.
That was the game that I think needed a full sequel than a deluxe version the most, because Pokken Tournament was already lacking on content in the original game, and especially so if you play the story mode, which is dull as rocks. But I don't know why it's not hard to make how hard is it to make a roster for a Pokemon game feel fleshed out when you've literally got 600 Pokemon to pick from?
700 something now.
Yeah, but
I would say picking a Pokemon is easy. I think designing around that Pokemon is another thing, especially for one.
No, I get that, but it's still one of those, you've barely even scratched the surface of what you can do with this. So
yeah, it's just
putting 2 slots to Mewtwo, 2 slots to Pikachu.
If we're going by power leveling here based on Pokédex entries, I mean, out of all the characters available on that roster,
Mewtwo should...
I'm not even just talking about the fight. Okay, yeah, Mewtwo should, but that's just not fucking fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, granted, we're not expecting, for example, Pikachu... if Pikachu's a better character than Mewtwo in terms of competitive, that's just the game. But I'm saying, even if we only count fully evolved Pokemon, or, let's just say one Pokemon per family, because they do want to have some lower evolved Pokemon just for variety's sake, you know. But even if we just count, one Pokemon per family, that's still a good 300. that they have available
Yeah.
to use, you know?
I'd imagine it's difficult to have that Pokemon in a way that is representative of why you like that Pokemon to start with, while also keeping it balanced as a fighter.
Yeah, like,
But to me, it's just, with some choices, it's just not possible, logically speaking.
trying to
You
make
know, because like you
Porygon a Tekken character would be very, very difficult. I will say that right now.
I would pay money for it,
Seizure
but
attack
it's
super.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but then again, there are some obvious choices that just didn't make the cut, like Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan and Hitmontop.
Chan.
Like, okay, if it's a fighting game, like there's a literal fighting type.
Why is there so few fighting types in the game? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's like I think that's the most obvious sell. Is like you make a Pokken game strictly for the fighting type Pokemon.
Well, I don't think that.
Well, not strictly, but it's still one of those. You're missing some very obvious choices here that would work just fine.
Yeah, like the Hitmon family, Alakazam for one, if we wanted more psychic, or if we want to pull from later generations, like Gen 3 Breloom would be a great choice. And like there's, like, I mean, you could probably put any starter Pokemon in the entire series in there, and it would be popular.
Blastoise would work.
I want Slacking.
Hey, that would be
still
awesome.
wins.
Like a character like that would fit the
That's
really
like super. That's like absurdly powerful, but stupid slow.
Yeah, like the Ganon Slacking would be a great Ganondorf for Pokken Tournament, you know. So I don't. Again, it's I think one of the biggest missed opportunities ever was Pokken Tournament, which is a shame because the fighting mechanics are not bad. It's just that the content isn't there. Like the only character I've ever played in Pokken Tournament to any significant amount is Chandelure, which I know is like the scrub character, but I don't care. I love him. He is a precious angel, and yeah.
Oh, so you're the guy in Street Fighter who Hadouken spams to win.
No, because I can't do the Hadouken.
It's called zoning.
No,
Ryan.
I don't know how to do it. Like I try to do the circle thingy, and I punch. That's all I do. I don't do it right.
Scrub.
Yep.
Scrub.
Well, that's what happens when I don't play Street Fighter
I-
until I'm like 15. You know, I don't have those things. Well, I mean, I suppose that's not a great excuse because I'm sure there are people.
Well, even that you don't even play Street Fighter the whole lot. You prefer Tekken.
Yeah. Well, that's mostly just because
You play Soul Calibur?
I've never played Soul Calibur before.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't have the game growing up. Like I know that Soul Calibur 2 was relatively popular, but I didn't have it.
Soul Calibur 2 is like one of
Relatively, that shit was
relative-
the shit.
Soul Calibur 2 is considered one of the best fighting games ever made.
Oh, okay. Like
Yeah, with that and the original on the Dreamcast and arcade.
Soul Calibur or Soul Edge, John?
Soul Calibur.
Gotcha.
Oh well, I mean I know what you're getting at, but I'm more affiliated with the console version, not arcade.
Gotcha.
so, Soul Calibur is the first game on consoles, and Soul Edge is the first on.
Is an arcade
Soul Edge
game.
was what it was called in arcades.
Is this like a Darkstalkers vampire thing?
Yes.
You see, I think that was just localization.
Okay.
I don't remember what the basis was for having arcade called Soul Edge and console Soul Calibur.
Well, there's two swords that are called Soul Edge and Soul Calibur, aren't there?
Yeah, I get like the lore of the game, but it's like, why name the arcade cabinet different than?
It is what it is.
Are you telling arcades are evil? Should I not put my quarter in this anymore?
How does Soul Calibur, like, I've never even touched a Soul Calibur. How does it, like, play? I know it's a 3D fighter.
It's basically controls like Tekken, but you're having weapon space.
Tekken with weapons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so that actually does sound semi-interesting. So if they had released a game within the last, like, 7 years, then maybe I would have tried it. Because, like, we did a commentary on Soul Calibur 5, wasn't it? Forever ago?
Yeah.
You see, this is
Yeah.
where we would need we need Lewis to get his ass in here because he'd be happy to go on a Soul Calibur tangent for 20 minutes.
The Lewis call horn has been out of commission for a couple of years now. I don't even.
Yeah, I dropped it down the stairs and I haven't been able to fix it.
And it needs a lot of lube.
Yeah, so sorry about that, but yeah, yeah, there hasn't been a new Soul Calibur game in years, so like it's not like
Still, I think the second one holds up really well. So
okay.
GameCube version, by the way.
Oh, I know. Is that just because it's Link, or is it better in general?
It's just because it's Link.
Just because
Yeah.
it's Link.
They all play the same. They all play the same way.
Okay.
It's just
It
that
just, it just has the
GameCube
most
version has
interesting.
Link.
It has Link because he's the most interesting guest character of the three.
Don't you
Yes,
love
Heihachi-
Spawn?
Well, I
Because-
mean, if Ted is a Tekken fan, though, he may like the PS2 version because it has Heihachi.
I don't
But he
know.
already has
Heihachi's
Tekken
kind of
for
a Heihachi's kind of a douchebag, and by kind of a douchebag, I mean he did nothing wrong. Tekken 7 proves that he's an innocent soul who's been unfairly judged by the world. I'm not even
It's
joking.
also a matter of John. He already has Tekken to play as Heihachi.
Can anyone tell me why Tekken 7 has geese?
Uh,
The SNK games.
First off, why did you name your character Geese? If he's supposed to be the threatening bad guy of your series, why is his name Geese? I don't know.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's.
Have
what
you,
it
dude,
sounds
Ted? Have you seen Canadian geese?
Oh, granted.
Those are some mean motherfuckers.
Okay, so John, the
Clearly.
reason why Geese Howard is in Tekken is because Geese Howard is a Tekken character. He's a gigantic douchebag who owns a corporation and is killed by being thrown off of a very high ledge.
like. Yeah, I get I've been familiar with geese since King of Fighters, but
Actually, he's from Fatal Fury, not.
I know he's a Fabino, but he was in King of Fighters, and that's where I first met him because I didn't play Fatal Fury a whole lot.
King of Fighters.
I don't even really know what the difference is. Like, are they the same series?
Cannot escape long death. I think I spoke broken English. It was hilarious. Predictable.